All right, we are live on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could all join me here tonight on this beautiful, amazing Monday evening. Regardless of where you're at, I'm hoping you're having a great day. Before we get to this show, there's so much to talk about. Before we get to it, let me make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out, and it absolutely has. Let me also check out the back end of YouTube and make sure that that is rolling smoothly. And it absolutely is. I see you in the chat there, Lewis, moderator Lewis Fuller. Thank you for being here. And let me also check out Facebook. The back end of Facebook looks, well, the simulcast, which is what I'm trying to say, looks beautiful, but I always want to double check on my beautiful iPhone 12 Pro Max. Love this phone. But I'm not addicted to it, so just want to make that very, very clear. And I love watching myself because I can learn how to better my delivery. At the top of the news feed. I'm not addicted to it, so just want to make that very, very clear. Yes, Facebook seems to be rolling smoothly. I love watching myself. Learn how to better my delivery. Fantastic. All right, and just one more thing before we get down to business here. This channel on YouTube and the Facebook simulcast is being sponsored by my good longtime friend, Troy Brewer. He is the CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network. Troy is a branding and marketing genius. So if you need branding and marketing for your self-employed business, or even if you still own a brick and mortar, Troy is the best. He's very reasonably priced. Of course, he does have some higher end packages, but he has a plan for each and every one of you. So if you'd like to further connect with Troy, go below in the description about a third of the way down on the YouTube side of things and click on the top link, discovercommunitynetwork.com. If you're on Facebook, go to the top at the Facebook search bar and type in Discover Community Network. That'll redirect you to the Facebook business page. And from there, you can see how to connect with Troy by phone or email. Or if you would like a personal intro to Troy through me by email, or if you'd like for me to help arrange a three-way conference call for a free consultation, just email me at Coach Eli at coach.eliasmelas.com. That's Coach Eli at coach.eliasmelas.com. The email is in the description section on both YouTube and Facebook. So with that being said, Troy, thank you very much for your continued sponsorship and patronage of my business, my brand, my YouTube channel, Facebook, or anywhere else I put out my content. Lots of love from Coach Eli and the Coach Eli clan. I'm in a very good mood today, folks, if you can't tell. I'm in a very good mood today. And I want to start off this show by paying a very special shout out to a very special lady out there that's watching this show. Just want to say good evening to you, ma'am. Hope you enjoy the show and hopefully your night is going well. And that's as far as that's going to go. Because, you know, we have a lot of trolls and haters, and we have the court of public opinion out here on YouTube and Facebook, and they like to try to dissect all aspects of your life because they're emotionally unavailable. They are not emotionally aware, and in many cases, they're emotionally unstable. I had to throw that in along with the topic tonight, so you folks can try to figure out what I just said there. And it gives you something to think about and talk about, right? Let's give them something to talk about, right? So people can remember you, right? The more they talk about you, the more relevant you are, right? All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. Let me check out Facebook and see if anyone is over there. We do have one person viewing on Facebook, 9 so far on YouTube. I'll be periodically checking in on the Facebook side of things throughout the show tonight. So if you're out there and you have any questions or comments or concerns, don't just put a comment and ditch because, you know, I primarily more so focus on the YouTube side of things. I will be checking in and responding to you, so you don't want to miss the response. On YouTube, we have Lewis Fuller in the house. He says, good evening, Eli. I just gave you a like. I will share your stream out. Thank you so much, Lewis. Appreciate that. Queen Helen Casey's here. She's like the top moderator here. You're a good moderator too, Lewis, but Queen's been around longer, and she's the lady, right? She's the queen of the house, right? The queen is here. She says, "You're good." And she says, "Hello, Louis." And Louis says, "Good evening, everyone." And he says, "Hi, queen." All right, folks, let's get right to it because I want to get to this material as quickly as possible. I do have some things to do later tonight, but I really want to do this topic justice. The topic of this stream is, without emotional awareness and emotional availability, you have nothing. One more time. Without emotional awareness and emotional availability, you have nothing. That's the truth. Because if you're not emotionally aware and emotionally available, how can you bond and connect with anyone? For whatever reason it is you're trying to connect with somebody, right? If you're trying to connect with a woman for a potential relationship, if you're on the dating scene, which is what I'm trying to say, like I'm in, right? Trying to connect with that one special woman. If you're not emotionally aware and you're not emotionally available, which means you've completely moved past any previous emotional attachment to leave that space open for someone new. If you don't have both those things, there's no way you're going to be able to bond and connect with a woman. Or if you're a woman, there's no way you're going to be able to bond and connect with a man. So in essence, without those two things, you have nothing. And I've seen many people try to get into relationships and work things out when they really aren't ready. They're still attached to their previous lover, or maybe, something's happening in that relationship to the point of where they've temporarily split up. So, one side, let's say the woman, goes and puts herself out there to try to find someone else to, fill in the void until she figures her man, decides to come back. So she connects with a guy, leads that guy to believe that there's something there. The guy does everything right. He's a good dude. He has his shit together. And next thing you know, after a month or two, she ghosts him, right? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever actually started to date someone? And let's just, take it from the male perspective. As a man, have you ever started to date someone? And women, this can happen to you too, right? And, things are going well. You are going out and doing fun things like taking hikes and going to nice dinners and taking weekend getaways and all that fun stuff, nice drives, right? Maybe you go to the beach and stuff, right? The intimacy, the sex is great. You're attracted to each other, right? And then all of a sudden, 2 months into it or so, you try to reach out to this woman and you never hear from her again. She ghosts you. Do you wonder why that happens? That happens because the person that was with you was not completely emotionally available. They were still holding on to a previous attachment, or they were taking a break from someone else they were seeing, and then all of a sudden the person that they were seeing reached out and wanted to work things out with them, right? So you were like the temporary fill-in guy, right? And how can you tell if somebody is emotionally available or not? Is there a way you can tell? In most cases, there is a way you can tell. And the way you can tell is by the way the person you're talking with communicates. Are they open to discuss anything and everything? Because if you're getting to know a man or a woman for a relationship, okay, and you ask a bunch of questions, someone that's emotionally aware and available is not going to be afraid to express anything and everything. Is not going to be afraid to share everything about them, no matter what, even early on. Because they're happy with who they are and they want something real and they want someone to accept them for who they are. All too often, people are a little bit closed off because they fear that if they share something that's going to eliminate them, they would rather not share that, right? And my thought on that is this: Why would you not want to be completely open and honest and truthful with somebody from the beginning to see if you have that full bond from the very beginning? Because what you don't share now is going to come up 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, maybe even a year down the road. And at that point, it's going to be much more difficult to disconnect, because at that point, you become emotionally attached. I just got a text message, and I'm not going to read this, but to the person that sent me a text message, I'll get back to you later, and we'll talk. Just continue watching the rest of the show. I've only been on for literally like 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words right now, folks. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Communication is very important. And I've had conversations with other women that I met through Match.com or Bumble or wherever, and their communication through texting was good, right? You message back and forth through the app a little bit. If that's going well, you exchange numbers, maybe you text a little bit, and then the first moment that you get a chance, you want to talk on the phone because you want to see how well you can communicate voice to voice. That's important. You want to hear tone of voice. You want to see if there's a constant back and forth of, two-way communication. One of the most important elements to a relationship, for example, is the constant flow of two-way communication, because without it, you have nothing. But what happens, let's take it from the male perspective once again, what happens when myself as a guy, for example, gets on the phone with one of these women after having a great texting conversation, right? I like their pictures. They're cute. That's great. It's one thing for a woman to be cute. That's nice. They want us to be cute too, right? But that's not the most important thing. That's an aspect of it that has to be there. The physical attraction has to be there, but that's not the only aspect, right? There has to be an emotional bond and a mental stimulation as well, and a spiritual connection, in my opinion, right? So you try to communicate with this woman on the phone, and she's very quiet, right? I love talking with a talkative woman. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a point where, if I'm talking with a woman that talks way the hell too much, that can be annoying. But if I talk way the hell too much, I'd annoy her too, right? So what I look for, what I feel is the best balance when getting to know someone, is a constant flow of two-way communication. Maybe I speak for a couple minutes, and then I'll say, well, what do you think about that, right? So if I'm sharing something about myself or something that I like, or we're talking about a political topic or whatever it is, right? I want to engage the person I'm with, right? I want to include them in the conversation because I'm getting to know them, right? So I'll say, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Well, what are your thoughts? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, right? You basically open the door. Like if I'm talking to a woman on the phone, you open the door for her to respond and share her feelings. And what's that going to do? That's going to make her feel appreciated. It's going to make her feel like her opinion matters to you, right? Because you want your opinion to matter too, right? So she wants her opinion to matter as well, right? But what happens when you get a woman that doesn't talk that much, right? You ask her questions and she's very brief with her responses, right? I've had this happen to me. And I ask them, I say, well, you're one of those types of women that doesn't like to really talk a lot. No, I like to listen a lot more. I want to learn about the person. Well, I want to learn about you too. So feel free to say something, right? I'll try to encourage them to open up a little bit. And then they're like, well, I open up more as I get to know the person. Well, sweetheart, let me tell you something. In my head, I'm thinking this, but I don't approach it this way because I'm a good guy. I'm not rude, but But this is what I'm thinking in my head when I come across a woman like that. I'm thinking, sweetheart, listen, I'm a good guy, but my time is very valuable, right? I work hard. I have family and friends, and I'm trying to get to know you to see if we can bond and click to have a relationship, right? And the only way we can find out that's possible is if you are open to a two-way communication and you do your part of speaking from the very beginning. I'm not going to sit around and wait for weeks or months before you say more than 3 words because I'm not going to know a thing about you. I'm not even going to want to continue the conversation, let alone meet you, if you can't even talk to me on the phone, right? But through texting, you were texting a storm, but now we get to the phone, and all of a sudden, you're watching every word, or you're just listening, and you're just sitting there, right? And I can carry a conversation. Obviously, those of you that have been watching me for a while, I can talk all day, all night, right? About any topic, right? That's why I'm a life coach, right? But when I'm bonding with a woman, I'm looking for the overall connection. Not just the physical. That's great. That has to be there, right? Why would you want to be in a relationship if there was no physical chemistry or intimacy, right? But there's a lot more to it than that. There's the mental connection. I want to be mentally stimulated. I want the woman to express herself and tell me how she feels. Tell me what she likes and doesn't like. Let's talk about it, right? And I want to share what I like and don't like. And it's not about being rude or being judgmental about it. It's getting to know each other. No two people are perfect, right? But when they close off, you can't get to know them. On top of that, if they're not saying more than a few words, or they say, I like to listen more than talk, there's an issue. There's an emotional issue. Either they're not emotionally available because their emotions are locked somewhere else. Maybe they're not that emotionally aware because of maybe the way they were raised by their parents. Maybe they came from a broken household, okay? Maybe they were not raised with morals, values, and ethics like most people aren't raised with nowadays, which is pretty sad because I was raised with traditional morals, values, and ethics. Now, I understand the modern world is different, and women are liberated and they're empowered, and, they don't need a man for shit pretty much. But women still want to be with a man, right? But they want to be with a man that can communicate, right? At least the healthy ones, right? The ones that don't communicate, there's something unhealthy happening, right? And like I said, typically it stems back to their childhood of the way they were raised. Or maybe they were in a long, horrendous marriage, and maybe they were abused. They went through something, right? And maybe they just haven't worked through it yet. And maybe they never will work through it. But for me, when I come across a woman like that, and I'm sure to you ladies out there, you come across those guys that just can't communicate, right? Right? They say very few words, right? You ask them questions, they're very vague, right? How can you bond in that way, right? How can you get to know someone in that way? How can you feel chemistry, if there's no, communication beyond 3 words, right? Anyway. So that's what you look for. Let me check out Facebook and see if anything's going on over there. Okay, nothing happening on Facebook. And we're good as well on YouTube. So again, like I said, you can figure out for the most part if somebody is emotionally available and emotionally aware by just having a conversation with them. This is very important when you're meeting people in the dating world. Now, this can hold true even when you're, dealing with business. If you're self-employed like myself, I look to collaborate with other people, right? And I want to collaborate with good professional people that can carry a great conversation and that are secure within themselves and emotionally aware and emotionally available. I want to be able to communicate with someone that I may possibly collaborate with at a business level, whether they're male or female, right? But if they're not able to communicate with me, how can I work with that, right? How can you work with anyone that's not able to communicate, right? And again, the main reason why people struggle with communication typically stems from a lack of emotional awareness and emotional availability. That's the bottom line. It's the absolute bottom line if I haven't already drilled it home yet. But you can tell if they're aware/available or not. Now, in some cases, and this is what sucks, this is what happens when you put yourself out there in the dating world. Sometimes you have to take risks that are out of your control. No matter how aware you are, like I am, like I know exactly what I'm looking for, and when I see it, I'm going to know it's there, right? Like I've said in the past, attraction is a must and not a choice, right? It's a must, right? I'm going to know it's there, right? But sometimes you come across someone that you're getting to know, and they're not emotionally aware or available, but they're good at playing it off like they are. They're good at putting up a facade for a month or two. Those people do exist, right? And it sucks because they can lead you to believe that something is really happening there when the truth of the matter is they're just having a little spat with their current boyfriend. They temporarily broke up, right? And maybe this woman, for example, let's use the woman as an example in this case. This woman just wants to fill in the missing time or the gap with another guy. Maybe she's trying to make her guy feel jealous for, wanting to take a break or something, right? And that's a trick that some women use and some men will use, but I think it's pretty stupid. I don't like playing those games, but you have to be aware of it, right? Some people are good at manipulating you to believe they are emotionally available and aware when they really aren't, right? So do you completely withdraw from dating because of that? Do you not give someone a chance knowing that, hey, even if it appears that person is a good person, right? There's a chance that he might be playing me or it might not work out, right? Or she might be playing me and it might not work out, right? There's always a chance of anything in life going south, right? That's why they call it taking a chance, right? For example, another chance. Every time that you step into your car and you drive down the road, there's always a chance something could happen. An accident could happen or anything, right? When you walk down the street, there's a chance that a car might spin out of control and hit you, right? All of us folks take chances all day, each and every day without even realizing it. Yet when it comes to relationships, that's when we put the guard up, right? We put the guard up because we've taken chances before, we've gotten hurt, and we don't want to get hurt again. But here's the problem. If you don't take that chance, no matter how many times you've been hurt in the past, you're never going to move past what happened in the past, and you're never going to have what you really want because you're going to close yourself off to a potential good person that may be coming into your life, right? You have to understand that. What I like to say as a coach is that I like to take my best chances. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. But what you can do is take your best chances. And if you still, get played, or if it still doesn't work out, at least you took your best chance. At least you were aware that, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. I feel good about it. I think she really likes me. I really like her. I think we got some great chemistry. Let's meet and let's see where it goes, right? And I'm not going to expect anything, but I'm going to hope for the best, right? But I'm also going to know deep within that there's a chance it may not work out. And I've already prepared myself in advance in case that happens. So that way, if I'm in that situation, right? I can handle it respectfully, professionally, and maturely. And say, hey, I understand. It seems like you're not feeling it. And that's okay. And the woman might feel bad and say, oh, you drove all this way to see me. I feel bad. Don't feel bad. You can't force chemistry. This is what I tell women nowadays. If that happens, you can't force chemistry. It's either there or it isn't. You're either going to feel it or you're not going to feel it. It's there from the very beginning or it's never there, right? Attraction is a must, not a choice, right? Right? So when you're that aware, when you're that emotionally aware and self-aware in general, you're going to live your life as a good person and you're going to give yourself the best possible chance of accomplishing whatever it is that your heart desires, including relationships. I know I focus my primary focus on relationships here, dating relationships and marriages, but I also deal with the business aspect of things. Being a self-employed entrepreneur or working in the corporate world, relationships are important in business too, especially if you're self-employed. Like I'm the owner of my own business. I work for myself. But just because I work for myself doesn't mean that I don't need people for my business to be successful. Without people, I have no business, right? Without my sponsor, I wouldn't be making that money, as a revenue stream for this business. Okay. Without being a partner with YouTube, for example, I'm a part of the YouTube partner program. If you look at the bottom of the chat, you see that $sign. That's called the super chat and the super sticker. I also have ads playing on this channel from Google and YouTube as part of the YouTube partner program known as YPP. I also have the option of people joining my channel membership program through the, YouTube channel / Google system, right? So in life, you have to take chances, but you take your best chances. Sometimes you're going to win, and sometimes you're not going to win. I'm not going to say lose, that's pretty harsh. Okay? But if you have a positive attitude, if you come from a good place in your head and your heart, and you love who you are and what you see in the mirror in a non-selfish way, you're going to project that into the universe. And what you project, you're going to eventually get back. If you continue putting out positive vibes, eventually the right people will come into your life. Are you going to encounter some bad seeds along the way? Absolutely. We all do, right? But as you grow into yourself, as you get older and grow into yourself, and especially if you follow this channel or other coaches, and you're big on personal development, you're going to become a stronger person, whether you're a man or a woman. And you're going to learn how to deal with the things that are not in your favor in the same way as things that are in your favor. You're going to be able to handle the bad in the same ways you handle the good. You're going to be able to respectfully, professionally, and maturely handle negative things happening to you, right? Because like I said, you can give it your best shot regarding anything you want to accomplish in life. And sometimes, no matter how good you are or how hard you try, or if you make the best effort possible, there's a chance it still might not work out. And that's not necessarily your fault. So don't blame yourself for it. Okay? Just handle it maturely. You don't have to yell at the other person. If you're a woman that's been dating a man for a while and it didn't work out, or he cheated on you or something happened, you know what? It's not worth your breath or energy to fight that man or slap that man or get that man to pay. You remove yourself from that situation and find someone who will respect you and love you for who you are, right? Now, I know it's harder for women to do that because of the way women biologically are. Women are emotional beings, like I've said all along, right? This is what you also have to understand about women, guys. I keep saying it all the time. Women are emotional beings. They're like the number 8. They're in a constant loop of emotion all day, every day, right? No disrespect, ladies. It's the truth, right? Women respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. Okay? And then they reason with logic afterwards. Ladies, us guys are not saying that you're not logical. Yes, you have a logical side, but you respond to everything first emotionally based on how you're feeling in the present moment. And like I said, again, the best example is this. Let's say you're dating a woman or you're married to a woman for 10 years. And one day after your 10-year anniversary, as a guy, you make a stupid mistake, right? Your woman's going to be pissed off at you, right? And then as a guy, you might be thinking, I did everything right for 10 years and you're still pissed off at me? Dude, what part of women respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment don't you understand? You have to understand that. That's what a lot of guys don't get. With women, you don't get time for good behavior. Those 10 years don't mean shit once they're done to a woman. I'm not saying they don't like the memories. But when it comes to, dating and courting a woman, even if you're married, you still have to date and court your woman. You still need to take her out, go to dates, go on weekend getaways, snuggle up at night, rock her world in the bedroom as much as possible, right? None of that can ever stop. The moment any of that stops, you're done. It's over, right? But like I said, women respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. So those past 10 years don't matter when you're pissing her off in the present moment. Now, how do guys handle it? A mature guy that's a real man, that's not, a beta male, like I've been talking a lot on my channel lately. A mature, emotionally strong man is going to be able to just kind of not let that get to him, right? Like, ladies, if you come across men, and this is how I am. If you come across a guy like me, I don't get fazed by things easily anymore. I don't get emotionally butthurt like they call it, right? Do I have emotions though? Am I emotionally aware and available? Yes. And I will show emotion when it's called for it. If I'm bonding with a woman emotionally, right? If we're on a weekend getaway trip and we're snuggling up in bed, and she's looking at me with those beautiful eyes and, some other body parts below. It's not all about those body parts, but, when you're with a woman there and you're like, wow, she's beautiful. She's a wonderful woman. I feel great. Yeah, I'm going to let some emotion out. Some good emotion, some good raw emotion. That's masculine, not feminine, right? Nothing wrong with a man showing his emotions at times when it's called for. You need to show emotions, and you should, especially if you're bonding with a woman, right? Oh boy, I just got another text message. I love women. I do. I love how women are. They're emotional beings. And, listen, I have my moments too, right? Right? I think the problem we have in this world nowadays is that it's frowned upon for men to show any emotion. Nothing wrong with that. The problem is if you're a man that's emotional all day, every day, that's not good, because then, in essence, you're acting like a woman. And that's just very unattractive. How's a woman going to be able to trust your masculine core to feel safe around you if you're acting like her? She's coming to you to balance out her emotions that are running sky high all day, every day. So as a man, you got to be strong. Got to be a little stronger, right? And I'm not saying don't show any emotion, but don't be a little whiny female dog 24/7. So, yeah, I really get into this topic here, folks. I really love discussing topics like these today, because this is a big issue. This is why relationships are failing and they're not working. Number one, people are not qualifying each other properly when they first meet, right? They look at, oh, she's hot, he's hot, we want to bang, right? And that's what people think about. They think about the physical attraction, right? Which that has to be there regardless. We all know we want to be with the most attractive person we can be with. That's also going to satisfy us mentally and emotionally though, right? Okay. But some people just don't look beyond the looks. They say, okay, you're hot. She says, oh, you're hot. He says, you're hot. And let's get together and let's have fun and we'll just figure out the rest. Well, figure out the rest. You haven't said a word to each other. You swiped right on each other on some swipe right dating app like Bumble or Tinder or Hinge or whatever, right? And then you meet up and then you hook up and then it's like, okay, you had some great sex and you want to hang out again, but like there's nothing else there, right? There's a lot more to a connection than just looks. There's a lot more to a connection than just looks. And people will end up settling for someone they meet in this way. Then, they have an unexpected pregnancy, for example. So then they get married and they never really took the time to get to know each other at a mental and emotional level, but they were physically attracted to each other, right? And they thought that would carry them through. But next thing you know, 5 years into it, 3 years into it, maybe sooner, one side or both sides start to cheat on each other. Why? Because while they still may be physically attracted to each other, they're not satisfied with other aspects. And they're going to go elsewhere to get that fix, right? That's why it's important to communicate right away from the very beginning when you're getting to know people, regardless of how you meet people today, whether it's offline or online. Most people are online nowadays because that's just the way the world is with these damn smartphones attached to our hips, right? I got a top-of-the-line iPhone. I just upgraded last year, iPhone 12 Pro Max. I mean, this thing, I used to bring my laptop when I'd go on a weekend getaway or when I'd go on vacation, I'd bring my laptop. I don't need my laptop anymore. I just need my iPhone 12 Pro Max. It does everything, right? Like I said, folks, communication is important. Get to know each other. Ask questions. If you're talking with someone and they're not open to answering certain questions, or you notice you're doing 2 to 3 times more talking than they are, there's something wrong there. That person you're talking with is lacking communication skills. And the reason why they're lacking communication skills typically involves this topic. They're emotionally unavailable and they're not emotionally aware. And you can sit there and try to change them, but nothing's going to happen. You're going to waste your time. Even if they give you the time of day, even if they sleep with you and they hang out with you, how fun would it be hanging out with someone that doesn't talk? I like going hiking, right? I want to go hiking with a woman that I can have a wonderful conversation for. Yeah, I want to slap her ass too. And I want to make out with her too, right? Of course, I want to do that, right? And if I'm not doing that, she's going to wonder, is he really into me, right? Because women want to know that they think you're the hottest thing to them, right? Or they want to know they want to know that they're the hottest thing to you. Sorry, I said that backwards. They want to know that they're the hottest thing to you, right? You want to make your woman feel that way, right? So yeah, we'll go on the hiking trail. I'll slap your booty. We'll make out, right? But in the meantime, while we're hiking, outside of that, the make out part every now and then, I want to talk with you. Look at this beautiful scenery, babe. What do you think? Babe, this is amazing. It's beautiful out here, right? Or you talk about, hey, babe, how's your family doing, right? How's your brother doing, right? I can't emphasize enough how important communication is and how a lack of communication stems from emotional unavailability and a lack of emotional awareness. I share this with you folks. I share my stories, and I share examples so you can learn what to better look for. Again, some people are good at hiding, the fact that they're emotionally unavailable and unaware for a certain amount of time, but eventually you'll see that. But don't stop yourself from going out there and seeking what you want because you fear someone may be playing you. You never know if someone's playing you or not until you get to a certain point, right? And you have to understand that, right? But if you don't take any chance at all, you're going to be home alone. And you're going to be sitting there saying, where have all the good guys, where have all the good guys gone? Where have all the good women gone if you're a guy, right? You know how many times I hear that? We're all out here. The good guys are here. We're here. And there are many good girls out there, right? Good gals, right? But you're afraid to take that chance. You're afraid to take that chance because people play games and they can lead you on, and that happens, right? You got to take your best chances. And again, why I do what I do here is to give you examples of experiences I've been through so you know what to look for. So that way, if you're giving someone a chance and you spot certain signs, that may be a sign for you to eject Watson at that point. Eject, right? Right? Before you get too much further into it, then you get emotionally attached, then it's hard to end it, right? Or if you end up going through a breakup once you're emotionally attached, then you carry that emotional attachment with you for a while. And then you have to work through that for several months or even sometimes several years before you can move forward and be in a good place to give someone else a chance. Wow. I just got another text message, and I'll just say, I'd have absolutely no problem with that. No problem. All right, folks. We've been on for 42 minutes. I'm going to step away and take a quick break and play some royalty-free YouTube music. When I come back, I'm going to be on probably for another 45 more minutes. And I'm going to go over 3 Reddit postings. The first one is titled, "What Does Emotional Availability Look Like?" The second one is, "How do you maintain emotional availability?" Someone's asking for advice. And it's real interesting the name of the subreddit this came from. And then the final one is going to be lack of emotional awareness, intelligence, maturity question. Very interesting. Very interesting. You're not going to want to miss that. So let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music. Give me just a second here, folks. Huh. Let me see here. Oh, okay. It's a special show today, so I want to play some of my favorite royalty-free YouTube songs. I mean, I'd like to play other songs, but, there's copyright. There are copyright issues, and I don't want to get dinged for that. As a monetized channel, they'll shut off ads for that video. Let me see. Got one. Let me see. All right, folks. Music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a little less than 10-minute break. And like I said, when I get back, we're going to go into those Reddit forums, and they're quite interesting. I've already read them before I went on the air. So Stick around for that. So yeah, stick around. We'll be right back. we're back, and gosh, man, women are such a big distraction. Big distraction. Stick around because my favorite song from the YouTube audio library is coming up. You that have been following me for a while know what it is. From my former channel, I used to play this song during a show called Coach Eli Live. I used to run on my former channel. Here we go. Ethan Mixel, Double Helix. Yeah! Energy up, energy up, energy up, energy up! Yeah, baby, yeah! Yeah, you feel it? You feel it? Yeah! Woo! Yeah, baby! You gotta feel it! You gotta love what you see in the mirror before you can love anyone else, or anyone else can love you. That's what it's all about! Hey, Wednesday Sicily 810 tonight, Specialized Cycling Club. He would come in here and say, settle down, coach, you got a show to run. Settle down, coach, you got a show to run. Yeah, baby. Whew, man. I'm exuding too much energy. But that's all right. You can never exude too much positive energy, right? Never, right? Who's with me on that? Let me know in the chat if you're still around. I'll get to the chat on YouTube in just a second, okay? Tuck in the shirt. Let's get back down to business. How's that? All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli live here on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook. Glad you can all join me here tonight on this wonderful, beautiful, amazing Monday evening. And we're going to get back to the topic here in a second, but I just have to let this track, this song, finish up. I love this song from the YouTube audio library. It's called Double Helix by Ethan Mixel. Love his guitar. It fires me up. It used to be a song that I used to start off my shows with on my former channel I used to run years ago during a show I used to run called Coach Eli Live. Now it's just called Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli because this modern world's so messed up. You know, we gotta have people teach us how to navigate it, right? But hey, hang on, here we go. Let's wrap it up. Yeah, baby. Yeah, you feel it? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Excuse me a second. Oh boy. It's all good in the hood. All right. Let me get the chat here real quick on YouTube. Holly Hopeful and Bliss is in the house, formerly known as BWA Gaming. You changed your channel name. She's a moderator and a channel member here. She said, hi, Eli and everyone. Gaming, is that you? It is, Queen. That's her. Because no matter what name she changes her account, she's moderated on that account. She can call the account anything. It's absolutely her. Plus, she has the yellow membership badge. She's a channel member of my channel, so she gets access to members-only content. Which, by the way, I need to start creating more members-only videos. I have 21 members-only videos. Haven't done one in a while, but more is coming soon. Lots more content is coming soon to this channel, folks, on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I always share the link to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Life Coach Eli, youtube.com/Life Coach Eli. And my channel is called Coach Eli, Elias Melas in parentheses. That's my actual name. So you're going to want to subscribe and bang the bell, select all notifications. So that way you can get content that's exclusively available on YouTube. I only simulcast my in-studio live streams on YouTube when I do mobile live streams like my walks. And when I do pre-recorded content, those pieces of content are only available on YouTube. So if you want to get everything, you've got to come over to the YouTube side. Plus, the video quality is so much better. On YouTube, I broadcast at 1080p at 60 frames per second. On Facebook, they only let you go up to 720p, which is still not that bad. That's okay. But when I start creating more and more videos, now that I have my brand new i9 laptop and my new iPhone 12 Pro Max, I'm going to be doing a lot of pre-recorded videos out from my hikes and stuff like that in 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, I do have 3 videos on my channel at 4K, 60 frames per second, and the quality is phenomenal. If you think the quality of these streams are decent, those 4K videos at 60 frames per second are just dazzling. They're just amazing. So much more content is coming soon to this channel. So stick around for that. Holly, hopeful, and blessed. Well, see, you're using your real first name, Holly. That's great. You're not afraid of these trolls anymore, are you? Right? We've all been trolled and hated upon, right? We've all had people project their insecurities on us, right? And we've just learned how to handle it. We've learned to ignore those people. There's a huge drama arena on YouTube and social media in general. And folks, here's the thing. I like to stray away from that. I don't like any drama in my life. If people try to bring drama in my life, whether it's a woman I'm seeing or a friend or family, I will disassociate myself from drama so quick. I would rather be by myself. I actually love spending time by myself at times, right? Don't get me wrong. I love being around people. And if I'm dating someone, I love being around that person. But I love my alone time. I'll tell you what I've been doing lately. I've been binge watching a show I used to watch on the USA Network on regular TV. I know now people don't really watch regular TV anymore. We watch YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video. And because I'm an Amazon Prime member, they do have a video aspect where they have some past shows you can binge watch. And there used to be this show I watched on USA I loved called Burn Notice, where the story was about a former CIA spy that got burned. And he's trying to get back into the agency, and people are trying to kill him, and he's taking side jobs to survive. And it's just an awesome show. How many of you have heard of Burn Notice in the chat? Have you watched that show? Holly, hopeful, and blessed, Queen Helen Casey, or anyone else around? Been binge watching that. I believe there was a total of 7 seasons, and I've made it to season 6 after a couple of weeks. So, I love my alone time. I love my alone time as well. But I also love being around people. Very interesting tonight, says Holly. What's so interesting about it? And then she has the crying out of laughter emoji. Holly, hopeful, and blessed, furthermore says it is a manic Monday. Like the Bengals song. Remember that song? Just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday. Yep. Nothing like the 80s, right? Queen Helen Casey says, I had to turn the volume down from double helix. Does that blow up your speakers, Queen Helen Casey? Sorry about that. Holly says, PFFFFT. Puffed. No, I haven't. What is that PFFTT? I've seen that before. I may be a little cuckoo, with this modern verbiage we use, right? This short code we use, right? You care to explain that, Holly, hopeful, and blessed? All right. All right, folks. Tonight we've been discussing without emotional awareness and emotional availability, you have nothing. One more time. Without emotional awareness and emotional availability, you have nothing. If you missed the first part of the show, go back and check out the replay. I do have the DVR rewind feature, both disabled on Facebook and YouTube, because I don't want people rewinding while I'm here live. I want people to participate live. And then if you miss a part of the show, go back and watch the replay, and you can comment in the comment section if you're not here to comment, during the live stream on the live chat, or within the live chat is what I'm trying to say. So, And basically what I've been saying is that being emotionally aware and emotionally available, crucial. And if you are an emotionally available and aware person, you want to attract like-minded people like that. If you attract people that are not emotionally available and or emotionally aware, it's gonna make your life miserable. It's gonna take you out of your happy state and bring you down to their level, right? You have to learn to identify that. And I said during the first part that the best way you can recognize that is the way people communicate. Do they communicate? Does the person you're speaking with communicate effectively, clearly? Are they equally contributing to the conversation, or are you more so dominating the conversation, right? On the flip side, somebody that, dominates the conversation and won't let you get a word in, that's just as bad, right? So you have to look for that, folks. And let me tell you something. Like I mentioned during the first part, like I've encountered women that I've talked to on dating sites that are very beautiful women. And, when we're messaging through the dating app or, through texting, they write very well, right? But once you get to the phone, you have to see how well they can communicate, voice to voice, right? And if it isn't a constant flow of two-way communication, I don't care how hot the woman is. I don't care how much money she makes. I don't care about anything else. If the communication is not flowing back and forth at an equal level constantly, you're out. And that's the way you should look at it too. Healthy communication is two-way and constant, right? But it's also not overbearing, right? You don't want to speak too little, but you also don't want to overdo it, right? And, I learned a lot about public speaking over the last 15, 20 years of my life, stemming back to my corporate days where I had to do public speaking for the first time. And then when I became self-employed 15 years ago or so, in order to promote my former business, my insurance business, and now this business now, but back in those days, I did a lot more in-person networking before COVID. I had to learn to be a better public speaker. I had to, number one, get over my fear of public speaking, because we all have that automatically, right? That just happens, right? And then I had to learn how to deliver my message clearly, and I had to learn to engage the audience, right? And how do you keep an audience engaged? You ask them questions. Every 2 or 3 minutes when you're talking, you ask them questions, right? Such as, who here has experienced this? Why don't you raise your hand? Let me know. Come on, don't be shy. And people are going to be shy, right? Right? Don't be shy. Don't be shy, right? Then they raise their hands, right? Then you're like, this is what I would do. I would be, hey, come on up here for a second. I want you to share an example of that, right? So you engage the audience, right? You get them to raise their hands when they're shy, right? Don't be shy, right? And then you pick one that raised their hand and you say, come on up here, right? No. Yeah, come on up. Don't be shy. You're here at a networking event. You're here to meet people, right? How are you going to make business if you're afraid to talk and share about your business and allow people to get to know you, right? So it's about engaging people, right? Same thing when you're communicating with a woman, for example, right? You want to talk and do your part, but then after a few minutes, hey, what are your thoughts about that, babe? What do you think? I'm curious to know, right? She may say, well, babe, I'm glad you asked, right? And then if she's a great communicator, she'll, talk about something else, say, well, what do you think about that, right? Well, I'm glad you asked, babe, because how much time do you have, babe, right? You can mess around a little bit, have some fun, right? I'll give you the short version of it, right? And we can save, the longer version when we go on a hike or something, right? That's communication, right? That's natural, normal communication. Now, before we get to these Reddit postings, what speakers? I have you on my tablet. Well, tablets have speakers too, but you're probably plugged into, you probably have a headset on, right, Queen? Holly Hopeful and Blessed says, it's like saying, nah, not worried about trolls. That's true. I don't care about the trolls. It's all good. I've been doing this for 4+ years on YouTube. So listen, I've become an expert on handling these things. Highly hopeful and blessed about you asking about trolls. Oh, that's what you meant when you said PFFT, right? PFFFTTTT, right? Like a little snarky remark, right? Holly Hopeful and Blessed says, yes, preachers do that, LOL. Okay, let's get to these Reddit forums. Give me just 1 second here. I got to tell you something, folks. Again, I got to tell you. If a woman is into you, she's going to make effort to reach out to you. It's not about you never reaching out to her, but women that are into you will reach out to you, right? And the truth of the matter is, if the woman is reaching out to you, it's her idea. You want to make it her idea because then she feels comfortable, right? A lot of women say, I want guys to chase me, right? And guys like me, I teach guys, don't chase women. Show your interest and be good to the woman and give her a chance to get to know you, but then back off and let her breathe. And if she feels it, she'll chase you. She'll make the effort for you, right? It's always beautiful. It always works so much better when the woman reaches out to you first, like with a text message in the morning. That's how I used to be with my ex, Dana. And then you just get back to her and say, yeah, good morning, babe. I look forward to talking with you later tonight. We got a busy day at work. I'll talk with you later tonight before you go to bed, right? And then we would hang out on the weekends, right? I always tell guys this. If a woman's chasing you, she's not dumping you, right? If she's not chasing you, it's over, right? But then you have women nowadays in the modern world saying, we want guys to chase us, right? You go chase a woman, right? You go reach out to her first every time. You chase her and see what happens, right? Right? She'll start feeling weird. It won't be her idea anymore, right? Right? And then she'll slowly start to back off, and then she'll lose interest, right? And then, boom, she's gone. She'll be hanging out with Chad instead, right? Chad and Tyrone, right? All right, let's switch over to the browser screen here. And let's get to this first Reddit posting here. What does emotional availability look like? I've been on the online dating scene long enough, it's a 32 male saying this, to feel like a veteran. Boy, so have I. It gets old, bro. Lately, though, I've been left scratching my head with fadeaways. Only lately, bro, it's been heading that way for a while. Man, the dating world is an interesting place nowadays. Women are liberated. They're making their own money. They're buying their own homes, cars. They don't need a man for survival anymore, right? So now, women are looking at men differently, than they did in the past during the days of traditionalism. So you have to understand that as a man, right? You have to have your shit together because women have their shit together, right? I've been on lots of dates where there was no spark, some spark or sparks flying. Yeah, that's why you have to gauge attraction when you first start talking with them. I won't meet a woman unless I can sense she has a high level of interest or attraction in me, and that includes physical, mental, and emotional, and spiritual. If it's just blah, 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 it's like, why meet, right? I want a woman that's excited to want to meet me. Just like I want to be excited to meet a woman. It's the same thing, right? With some of the sparks flying, one, the intimacy experience was fantastic for both sides. Some of these people open up a lot about past trauma, goals, where they're at, and share things you don't usually share with people you aren't interested in. I love that, right? Nothing wrong with talking about your past. Now, if you only talk about your past, or if you're not over your ex or anything, that's a different story, right? But if you can bond and relate with a woman by sharing about your past experiences and relating to each other in that way, in a healthy way, it's going to bond you closer because you're basically telling her things you wouldn't tell just anyone, right? So she's feeling a level of you trusting her to tell her that. And that's making her bond with you, feel closer to you, and being able to trust you more, right? There's often I had a wonderful time, I'd like to see you again, and the slow fade away. That's going to happen, but you don't know unless you try, right? I understand that sometimes you meet up, hook up, and you find they aren't what you're looking for. What I don't get, maybe, it is just love bombing. Well, that's what some people do if they're looking for something temporary. They'll love bomb you to lead you on to believe that you're the perfect person for them. So they give you a chance, you hook up, you have sex, and then it's over, right? That's not me, but I've heard stories of that. And I've known friends of mine that have played the game that way. And it's like, I don't appreciate that. Like, I don't like that. But that happens, right? Right? Maybe it's just love bombing. It's why people say things like, why are you still single? I get that all the time. I'm 47 years old, single, never been married, no kids. I just haven't found the right person. I've had great relationships. They just haven't gone the distance, right? It's almost like when some women ask, why are you still single? It's almost like them thinking like there must be something wrong with you if you're still single. If you're a decent looking guy, you have your shit together, you're financially, mentally, and emotionally stable at 47 and you're single, never been married, no kids. Why are you single? When women ask that, it's basically trying to see what the hell's wrong with you, right? Because if you're such a great catch, you'd be taken, right? But what a lot of these women don't get nowadays is that it's not easy finding someone compatible. And like I mentioned before, that typically, happens because women are now liberated nowadays. Women are not dependent on a man for survival in the modern world like they were, pre-50s era, the June Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver days, right? Where women didn't have the same rights. They were dependent on a man for survival, without a man, they wouldn't survive, right? Nowadays, women are liberated. They're working. They're making good money. In many cases, they're making more money than men. They have degrees where men don't, right? Women have risen up, right? And that's what's happening, right? And a lot of guys just don't how to deal with that. But also a lot of women they become very, very picky over this. And they seek the perfect man. A lot of women are looking at the sixes, which is what we call it, us guys call it, right? Okay, you got to be 6 feet tall. You got to make a 6-figure income. You got to have a six-pack, and you have to be packing at least 6 inches or greater down below. And I'm 5'10", and while I may qualify for most of those things, if not all, besides the 6 foot one, I'm 5'10", 175 pounds, and the rest is well within, what most women are looking for, right? But even if I'm 2 inches shorter than 6 feet, right? Some women want minimum 6 feet, right? And why are they that picky? Because they can be, because they don't need men to survive anymore. They're independent, right? Those are the women that ask, why are you still single, right? And then it's funny. I see women, I've talked this before, I'll share it again. I've seen women in their mid to late 30s and early to mid 40s that are single, never been married, no kids, and they're on a dating site. And they're very attractive. Like I've seen very attractive women in their 40s, like 43, 44, 45. They're like 5'6", about 130 pounds. I mean, they're in great shape. They have a great career, great job, right? And their profile says, single, never married, no kids, right? You know what that tells me? That tells me they've been so damn picky all their life that either A, guys didn't give them a chance to date them, or B, guys did date them and they just realized how superficial they are and the guys left them, right? Whenever I've encountered these types of women, like I'll have one phone conversation with them and after 30 minutes of talking with them, like they're just really, really like stale, right? And then I can tell, I'm like, okay. So they're just not happy within themselves. And it's maybe call it a stereotype, and it's true. Maybe my stereotype of women that are single, never been married with no kids in their 40s have just been so damn picky that they're not letting anyone in. You have to be the absolute perfect guy, right? And that doesn't exist, right? I have no idea why someone hasn't snatched you up yet, and then poof, right? Yeah, you hear that all the time. Do others have experiences with this? Thoughts on what's happening here, or if I'm really clueless and I'm missing something? What does emotional availability look like when you're on a date with someone? Any thoughts would be appreciated. Emotional availability means you're able to communicate effectively and you're not afraid to answer any questions that the woman you're on a date with asks, right? Never mind. My phone's been blowing up during this show. I have my phone on vibrate. Like I said before, I remember on my former channel, I used to have my phone. I don't even have my phone on vibrate. I have it on silent because you'd be able to hear the vibration buzzing, through the microphone, right? On my former show, I used to have it on vibrate, on my former channel, that is. And these trolls and haters, they got my number and they would blow up my phone, right? And now the iPhone came out with a feature where you can silence all calls automatically and block all calls automatically from people that are not on your contact list and from numbers that are blocked, right? So I still get the notification at the top of the screen, but it's not it's not distracting. Anyway. I have people sending me messages behind the scenes saying, we're single because people are assholes. Well, that's true. And listen, both men and women, can be that way, right? It's not just men, it's women too, right? It's people in the modern world that don't understand how to navigate this modern world. And that's why I do what I do. But let's get to some of these questions here. What I'm going to do, folks, I've been on for an hour and 21 minutes. I'm going to take one more break here in a second before I get to the last two, because I need to take a break to use the restroom, get some more coffee after talking for a certain amount of time, and kind of went on a little wonderful tangent at the beginning of the second segment. So we're going to go into a third segment after I get through the comments section here. This subreddit, which is the OkCupid subreddit, right? Communicates their feelings, confronts their feelings, communicates their intentions, vulnerability. You gotta allow yourself to be vulnerable. I've said that before, I'll say it again. Even as a man, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, because if you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable, then you're not a chance taker. And if you don't take chances, you're never going to get anywhere in life. So many people are so closed off to being vulnerable. And then they wonder why they never get anywhere in their dating life and their professional life. No one is 100% emotionally available all the time. That's true. But they can be emotionally aware all the time. We all go through things. It's totally normal and healthy to not be emotionally available all the time. But during the times when you're not emotionally available, such as after a breakup, take the necessary time off to work through that before you put yourself back out there. And try to manipulate people to be with you when you're not really ready, because you're just seeking temporary, satisfaction, right? But they want to connect and make efforts to connect, right? Because when you go through a breakup, you're not emotionally available at that time, or at least not completely emotionally available. You're still trying to get over your ex. So a lot of guys and gals, what they'll do is they'll try to hook up with somebody else immediately after the breakup because they're feeling crappy. They want to feel wanted by somebody, right? Those will typically turn into hookups. It is possible for something to work out in that situation, but it's very, very rare because in that situation, you're not emotionally available, and you're probably not even aware, right? You're being selfish, just trying to get over what just happened to you through your breakup, and you're trying to use this new person to help you get over the emotional attachment. That's not a good way to do it. That's not healthy. It's not healthy, right? Take some time off, focus on yourself, and when you're ready and emotionally available, then put yourself back out there, right? They're not scared of commitment, or at the very least, they're brave towards what they fear. They are attuned to their partner. Being receptive and supportive of their partner's feelings is really important. Okay? Okay. I have nothing to add to that. Overall, making an effort, being available to meet regularly, that should go without saying. Sure, if you're dating someone and you're not seeing each other regularly, at least on weekends, at least once a week or so, you got nothing. And if you can't see each other, let's say you got a little bit of a long distance relationship, right? Like an hour or two drive, right? Okay. You can talk on the phone every day. You don't have to talk all day every day, but you can talk on the phone for a half an hour or an hour before you go to bed. You can text throughout the day when possible, right? There are things you can do to stay close when you're not right next to each other. And when you do that, that also shows your partner that you're not out banging some other person, right? Okay? If a date suggestion doesn't work, they counteroffer. They, women, propose dates first. They share stories, opinions, and feelings without prompting. They act out of optimism and openness, not fear or baggage. You never second guess if they like you or you're exclusive. Their actions speak for themselves. Well, everyone is different, but like I say, you want to focus on people that display a high level of attraction or interest for you, right? And they will tell you. And you will know when you connect with somebody from a dating site or dating app, for example, you're going to know pretty quickly if they're really super into you or they're just kind of lukewarm, right? Right? And sometimes, women, let's take men, for example. Sometimes women are lukewarm into you, like on a scale of 1 to 10 on the attraction scale. If a woman's not at least attracted to you at a level 5, it's never going to work out, right? If she's attracted to you at a level 5 or 6, that's kind of like saying, he's kind of cute, but, let's just see where it goes, right? Okay? And if she gives you the chance and then like another guy pops into the picture and he's a level 9 or 10 attraction to her. When I say attraction, I'm not only talking about physical attraction. There has to be that physical attraction there, right? But it's overall attraction, including physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, how the guy carries himself, right? So then if another guy pops into the picture that's an 8, 9, or 10, or even a 7, right? Because you're a 5 or 6 to her. If a guy 7 or greater pops into the picture that resonates with her overall better, then guess what? You're ghosted. You're either ghosted or she'll tell you, it's just not going to work out. But typically nowadays, you're ghosted. That's just the way it goes. That's the way the modern world is. It sucks, but that's the way it is. That's why I do what I do, so you folks can actually understand this and not get upset by it. You want to give a woman a chance, and for you ladies, you want to give a man a chance that has like an 8, 9, or 10 level of attraction for it. Right? Right? Like I asked my ex Dana, for example purposes, right? We were talking about this when we were dating because when we were dating, I was running my former channel, and she used to do some videos with me. And I told her, I said, you had a pretty high level of attraction for me when we met, and I'm sure it's still there. Obviously, we were together at that point when we were talking about this, right? And I asked her, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what was your level of attraction for me? And she goes, it was a sky-high 10. She's like, no one's ever made me orgasm with my pants on, in my car. And I'm not trying to say that to be weird. What I'm saying is that when someone's really into you, and it wasn't just the physical, it was the emotional, the mental, the conversation that we had. Okay? When someone's really that into you, it's just, it's a sky high level 10 attraction. when you are talking with a person like that, and if you feel the same way towards them, it's effortless. All you have to do is show up. That's it. Show up and keep showing up, right? Rather than hiding your feelings and thoughts to make others get the hint, you tell them straight what's up. Right, like me, I'm straight up. And some women are like, you're too straightforward, or you have too much of a checklist. No, I really don't have any checklist. I just don't want my time wasted. You're either into me or you're not. And I'm either into you or I'm not, right? I want a good woman in my life that's going to be sweet and kind and loving, but also can take care of herself. I'll do my part when we're together. I do my part, right? And I'd be supportive. But when they're independent nowadays, I'm looking for a woman that has her shit together, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially as well. Now, I don't worry as much about the financial part because I'm still kind of old school, right? I'm the type of guy where, I don't need a woman to make the same amount of money as me or more money. If she does, that's great. It doesn't affect me. I don't mind making more money and paying for most things, but it all depends. It all depends on the woman. It all depends, how she handles everything else. Communication is key in all relationships. Yep, I've been saying that all night, and I say that all the time. If not present, it will crumble. Yeah, there's nothing there without it, right? And why do people not communicate? Because they're not emotionally available or aware or both. Sometimes what you talk about the most will show the kind of person you are to abso-freaking-lutely. Like I said before, I've talked with women that talk about their jobs more than anything, right? And I'm happy that women are working and they're making their own money and they're liberated. I respect that, right? I'm glad you've got a great job. But we're on a dating site. I want to get to know about you. What do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do during your spare time? Before you tell me the entire history of your career and talk about it for days on end, right? I want to know if we're compatible, right? Because I could care less about what you do if we're not compatible. Now, with no disrespect, I just love people in general. But I've talked to women on the phone after having a nice communication through a dating app, and they feel we have a good connection, and so do I. Then we get on the phone and they start going off about their work. It's a big turnoff to me as a man. I don't give a shit about what you do for a living until I care about you as a person. What do you have in here? Your heart, your head, your soul. Your job is just what pays the bills, right? And, I'm sure for a lot of these women, they're flexing their muscles because they're liberated now. They want to say, hey guys, look at us. We're doing what you've always done. Now we're empowered to do this, right? That's a big turnoff to me when a woman flexes in that way. I respect women, modern women, for working. What I don't respect is when they flex their muscles, right? That's not feminine energy to me. It's very unattractive, right? If buying her dinner makes you feel like a John, you tell her so and why. Come on, man. Some of these guys are pathetic. I'm going to leave that one alone. All right, when we get back, I'm going to take another break real quick. When we get back, we're going to be going into a forum. This is interesting what this forum's called. It's the subreddit Ask Gay Bros Over 30, right? And there are straight people in here, right? It's just an interesting name for the channel, right? Or for the subreddit. We're going to be talking about how do you maintain emotional availability, advice, and then we're going to talk about lack of emotional awareness, intelligence, maturity question. So let me get back to the full screen here and check out the chat real quick before I take one more break and we get to the last two Reddits there. Okay. Oh man. Oh boy. All right. Those are good, Queen. Queen was saying, Holly, I have a Samsung Galaxy tablet. It's a good tablet, Android operating system. LMAO 666. What are you talking about, Holly? Holly says, yes, communication is key. And she also says, makes sense. Let me check over it on Facebook. Nothing happening over there. All right, let me cue up some more royalty-free YouTube music. Take another quick break. Get a little more coffee and use the little boys' room. And then we'll get back to the last two Reddits before we call it a night here. Let me see here. What do I want to play? Let me see here. Okay, that's 1, 2. Oops. Did that not register? Oh, give me a second here. Just need one more, just one more. All right, music is all queued up. Let's step away for another quick break. I'll see you back on the flip side. We'll be right back. We're back. And let's just scratch it and get back down to business. All right, scratch it. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook. That you can all join me here on this amazing Monday evening. If you're joining us live, it is Monday, July 12th, 2021. If you're watching this down the road at some point, hey, this still is going to have value beyond the live stream. I cater my live streams with evergreen value, meaning that, hey, if you watch this a year down the road, there's a lot of great information here that can help you become a better version of you. And that way you can go out there with a smile, be positive, be open, be outgoing, be friendly, and you're going to attract the right people into your life that way. You know, if you exude positive energy into the universe, right? And exuding positive energy, let's talk about the male aspect, doesn't make you a sissy, doesn't make you, a feminized man. It just makes you a cool, decent dude that is happy with yourself, right? And when you're happy within yourself, I speak about the male perspective more here because men are struggling a lot more with this than women. I'm not saying women are not struggling with this, but in the modern world, because of women being liberated, men are struggling to try to figure out what the heck's going on with women, right? And you have to show up, you have to show up even more ready than ever before now because, again, women are going to school, they're getting degrees, they're getting great jobs, they're buying their own homes or cars. And they're like, okay, I've got all this. If you're a man that has nothing to bring to the table, why should I be with you? And quite frankly, I don't blame those women, right? Okay. So if you're a happy person deep within yourself and you exude positive energy, which is what I'm trying to say, you're going to eventually get that back. Now, you might come across some bad seeds in the meantime, no matter how positive you are. And that's okay. That's normal. You just kind of avoid those people. Don't let them kick you down. Don't get sucked into endless nonsensical drama because a lot of people that are not the right fit for you are going to see you're so happy and they're going to try to kick you down because they wish they could be like you, right? So don't get sucked into that vortex of drama. You ignore those people. Now, some people like me, I've tried to help people like that in the past and I've realized you can't help people like that unless they're open to the help. So, hey, maybe you try once, and if it doesn't pan out, then you just have to move on, quietly, respectfully, professionally, and maturely, and keep up that positive attitude because eventually you're going to attract the right people into your life, right? And that's the way it goes. If you exude negative energy, what are you going to get back? You only get what you give, right? What you put out, you get back, right? What you project, you get back, right? And when there are people, for example, out here on YouTube, I've seen this happen a lot on YouTube, on the YouTube side of things. You get a lot of people that project their insecurities, right? Like a lot of guys. It's funny, like nowadays, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Men have become more feminized and women have become more masculine, right? It's just funny. And when I say feminized and masculine, men are exuding more feminine energy nowadays. A lot of men are, and women are exuding more masculine energy because they're in the workforce where it requires that, right? Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that you got to be happy within yourself. You got to love yourself and project positivity. If you project negativity, if you project your insecurities, right? Okay? What do you think you're going to get back? What do you think you're going to get back? Okay? I've had many people on YouTube do reaction videos to me. I've been on live stream panels with other people, trying to help them, trying to be cool to them. And all they do is try to trash talk me and kick me down. And I'm like, come on, bro. You don't have to be that way, dude. Come on, man. And the funny thing is this. What they don't realize is they're only hurting themselves more. They're only setting themselves further back, right? But you got to let those people go. Let them figure it out on their own. And one day, maybe they'll snap out of it. And if they don't, they're just going to live a lonely, miserable life. And no matter how good of a person you are like me that loves people regardless and tries to even help people like that, you just can't help certain people. You just can't. you got to come to the realization that you just got to let them go, right? And continue focusing on your positive outlook. All right. Let's see. Holly Hopeful and Blessed says, yes, communication is key. Makes sense. 6 foot, 6 figures, and 6 inches LMAO. Well, yeah, there are women that do have those requirements, Holly. You know, I mean, I'm the type of guy that likes to say, it's not about the size, it's about the motion of the ocean, right? Now, granted, there is a certain point where, some men are smaller. I dated this woman one time. I have to share the story. This is my younger days, right? And she was so happy to be with me. I was a good guy, but the below region was more satisfying to her than her ex. She said her ex had a 1-inch private area. Let's put it that way. We want to be courteous to the YouTube algorithm and not get demonetized, right? I'm like, you've got to be kidding. And she was like, it was like a stump. I'm like, what did that do for you? She goes, absolutely nothing, but I loved him. I tried to make it work, but I loved him, right? And I'm like, I can understand to a certain extent, but then you have guys that are 4 or 5, right? Which is still decent, right? And girth also matters too, right? And some women just won't. I've heard stories like that. I've heard stories from guy friends and other guys that have coached and stuff that, women want that. They want they want the 6s, right? 6-figure income, 6-pack, 6 foot taller or taller, and 6 inches or greater down below. Okay, enough said. Queen says, kick them to the curb. Sure, sometimes you have to do that, but we do it respectfully and maturely, right? When someone's coming at you, right? When someone's coming at you and they're projecting their insecurities, the last thing you want to do is get angry and get triggered, right? Because if you get triggered, they get what they want, right? They kick you down to their level and they win, right? So how do you win? It's not even about winning, but how do you win technically, right? You basically just don't let them get to you. You're like, hey, dude, if that's how you see yourself, bro, if that's what you think of me, no big deal, bro. I'm going to go because I got better things to do than to sit here and listen to you whine and complain like a female dog. I'm going to go have fun, right? And you just say it respectfully and then you leave. You don't make a big deal out of it, right? And that's going to trigger them more, right? That's how you get to them. Feeding into people, getting angry at people. I don't get angry at people. Like I've also said this in the past, right? When I'm dating a woman, like I never argue a woman. It's pointless to argue a woman. I said this before, like I said, I'll say it again. Why is it pointless to argue a woman? Women are emotional beings. They respond to everything emotionally based on how they're feeling in the present moment. And a lot of times they react to things that don't even involve you. You just happen to be there, right? You're the guy. You're the rock, right? Right? So why argue something? Why fight a battle as a man that you can't win? Like, even if you're right as a guy, why fight the battle you can't win, right? Even if you're right, you just laugh about it, right? You're like, it's all good. This is my lady, right? She's having a moment. I'm a man. That's what I was made to offset that emotion and be there for her, right? If I overreact to it, I'm basically acting like a woman, and then she's going to feel uncomfortable or maybe get more mad and feel like I'm not strong enough for her, and I'm not being there for her in the ways that she needs me to be there, right? Talk about unrealistic expectations, says Holly Hopeful and Blessed on the YouTube side of things. Yeah, I agree with you. You're a good woman and your husband is a good man. How's your husband doing, Holly? Is he doing better? And how are your kids doing? Did you have a great 4th? I know we need to touch base soon, and we're going to do some collaboration live streams soon. Let me know when you're free to do that. I would love to collaborate with you. We've been good friends for a long time. All right. One more thing before we get to the other two Reddit postings. Holly, hopeful, and blessed. In my lifetime, I have met one guy with all those requirements, but of course, he was already married. LMAO. Holly, how in the world would you know this guy had all those requirements if he was already married? Did he just tell you? That's interesting to me. That is interesting to me. All right, give me a second here. My hubby is doing better. The kids are doing well also. That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. My blessings to you and your family, Holly. And I love your new channel name. Holly, hopeful, and blessed. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, let's get back over to the browser screen. And let's get back into the subreddit r/AskGayBrosOver30. How do you maintain emotional availability? Advice. I'm 30 years old and feel like I've been through the ringer when it comes to dating. I'm recently divorced, separated end of 2019 after only a couple of months of marriage. I found out he was doing some terrible things behind the scenes, so I left him to protect myself. It was both the easiest and hardest thing I've ever done. It was easy in the sense that I knew I had, you left out a word, to leave because I deserved better. It was hard in the sense that I was a newlywed who thought my new life was just beginning. He was the only long-term relationship I've ever had. So you didn't have any experience to be able to pre-qualify the man that you ended up marrying. You probably got married way too young, way too soon. You were probably looking at him as the provider, right? Anyway, now it's been a year and 4 months later since I left him, and I feel like my love life is still more or less disappointing. It seems like I can never catch a break. From 14 to now at 30, man, you started young, man. 14, yeah, these women start young now. I've had my share of boyfriends and hookups over the years, but seldom anything meaningful or long-lasting. Well, ma'am, here's the thing. You focused more on hookups, right? You made it probably easy for guys to reach the promised land. And I'm not saying make it incredibly difficult, but it sounds like you easily, gave into intimacy without feeling any emotion or a connection, right? And so now that's what you're used to. That's what you know. So you don't know what it feels like to feel, an emotional bond and to feel a deep, everlasting type of connection. And it sounds like you want to feel it, but you've never experienced it because you've focused on hookups. That's the problem with a lot of our youth nowadays. It's become a hookup culture. Several of the guys that I've casually dated since leaving my ex-husband have all fallen flat. Ma'am, I think this is more about you not knowing what you want. So you don't know, when you don't know what you really want, ma'am, you're going to say all guys fall short, right? There are a lot of women out there nowadays that, they set the bar way too high, like Holly was saying in the chat. And I've talked about this before. I did a stream on this weeks ago, unreasonable expectations. Women have unreasonable expectations. Sounds like you've set the bar so high, ma'am, that no guy can reach it, right? I can't seem to make it past only a couple of weeks of talking and hanging out with someone. You set the bar way too high, man. Way too high. Recently, I fell for a friend of mine that I met only a few months after leaving my ex-husband. We met on Grindr. That's your problem, ma'am. Grindr's a hookup site. Jesus Christ. This is pathetic. And it was definitely just for the sake of hooking up. You admit that! What are you whining about, ma'am? You either want a relationship or you want to hook up. Wow. And it was definitely just for the sake of hooking up. But over time, we grew closer and hookups turned into us actually hanging out, having meals together, playing games, etc. Well, sometimes that can happen. Sometimes hookups can lead into relationships, but it's pretty rare. Nothing's impossible, but ma'am, you're going into these situations wanting a hookup. You want the sex immediately, right? Ma'am, you're giving up the prize too soon. And I'm not saying that a woman, should hold off on intimacy, from a guy if she feels it right away, but make sure that that guy really likes you and you have an emotional bond, a spiritual connection, and a mental connection. Ma'am, you're going into this because you must have a high libido, man. It sounds like you just can't be without a man. You need to feel that intimate closeness. You need to have that sexual charge released all the time. He was in an open relationship when we met. So you So he was in an open relationship when we met, but you still hooked up with him, man. But split with his fiancée this past October. So he was engaged, split with his fiancée, probably not emotionally available, and he was in an open relationship with somebody else when you met him. Ma'am, the quality of guys that you're seeking, I'm not saying these are bad guys. They're not in the right place for what initially you stated you wanted. I started to grow feelings for him the more we hung out. That's because he had other options. A lot of women are like this. And to a certain extent, all women are naturally like this. Like when men get attention from a lot of women want that man, right? When a man's a good catch, attractive, successful, etc., right? They all want him, right? So, ma'am, the only reason why you want him is because other women want him. You're seen as a challenge. You're seeing him as a high value man when he may actually not be. Or he may be, but he's not in a good place to date somebody seriously now. I started to grow feelings for him the more we hung out, thinking maybe he was starting to feel the same for me over the past few months. No, man. You were just a piece of you-know-what to him. I'm not going to say it. You know what it is. I learned from him, however, that he's been back in the dating pool while we've continually been hooking up and hanging out. So he must be rocking your world, man. He must be doing things to you that just keep you coming back. Well, that's one aspect, right? Maybe that's what was happening in your marriage and there was nothing beyond that. What about the communication, the emotional bond, the spiritual connection, right? He's gone a series of dates with guys, leaving me wondering why not me. I wonder if this is a gay relationship. This is a gay subreddit, it looks like. Either way, it doesn't matter. Same principles of dating apply to straight and gay and lesbian people. It's the same thing. One side of a gay relationship is more masculine, the other side is more feminine. That creates, sexual polarity there. I've had my heart stomped on pretty hard by many guys in the past, especially my ex-husband. I don't know how to keep myself open and available for dating. It hurts. It is great that there are guys that are physically into me, but I just wish I could finally find someone who values my heart. Well, you have to figure out what you want first. And when you project what you want and you properly put yourself out there by projecting it the right way, right, you're going to get what you put out. You're getting what you're putting out. And you're coming out here saying, I want something more, meaningful. But you haven't done anything to put that out in the universe. So you're only getting what you put out. How do you keep yourself emotionally available? How do you keep dating and giving things a chance? I know it's not realistic to paint every person and every opportunity with a broad brush, but damn, is it hard to keep going and not close up shop emotionally? Wow. Interesting. You keep yourself emotionally available, because you come to the realization that you love what you see in the mirror. You love who you are. And you start to have the attitude like I've had later on in my life. It took me a while to get here, but I finally got here. I really don't give a shit about what people think about me. I say that respectfully. That doesn't mean I don't care about people. I do. When I say I really don't give a shit about what people think about me, what I'm saying is that the only opinion of myself that truly matters is my own opinion. Same thing with you folks. The only opinion of yourself that should really matter is your own opinion. And if you get to that point where you're that secure within yourself, nothing will bother you even when the times aren't good, right? So when things don't go your way, you'll just brush it off, put yourself back out there, and attract what you really want. How do you keep dating and giving things a chance? If you really want something, you'll get back on that horse and keep trying until you get it. No matter what's happened in the past. But if you dated somebody for a while and you're still emotionally attached, I wouldn't put yourself back out there until you completely remove that emotional attachment, because anyone you get with, it's not going to be fair to them. It's not going to be fair to you. You may be rushing things, pushing things. You may be trying to force things. And when you force things and it's not natural, it doesn't work out ever. Let's get to the comments here. Spicy Coffee says, I hate to say it, but hookups are NSA sex, no strings attached, which is pretty much the definition of emotional unavailability. Amen. I cannot be intimate with a woman I'm not emotionally connected to. I can't. I've had many opportunities. Sexy women wanting to just have a one-nighter or friends with benefits. I just can't do it. It's just, my body shuts down. What turns me on about a woman to be intimate with her is her really liking who I am and me really liking who she is. That's sexy to me. There's nothing sexier than getting along with someone for who they are and they like you for who you are. It's an amazing feeling because you can have sex with them, make love them, however you want to say it, right? And once you're done, you can snuggle up a little bit and then lay there in the bed and just talk, maybe watch some Netflix or something, right? And just feel like relaxed. There's no better relaxing feeling than being in that situation with somebody you truly bond with. It's amazing. If you want to heal your heart and find relationships with more meaning, the first step is to cut out hookups from your life entirely. Amen. Let's repeat that one more time. If you want to heal your heart and find relationships with more meaning, the first step is to cut out hookups from your life entirely. Get rid of Grindr. I agree. Grindr and other hookup apps like Tinder too, right? And refuse to date people who still use them. Amen. It's obviously easier said than done, but removing the revolving door of easily replaceable sexual partners is very important to establishing a deep, intimate partnership with another person. I could not have said that any better myself at all. At all. At all. Hi, Emotional Cheetah. Just a word of caution from a serial relationship per. You are wanting to do something that is on its face almost impossible. Part of any relationship, whether that is friends, family, or romantic, involves being open and honest for that relationship to continue being a mutually beneficial exchange. Sounds good to me. If you want a boyfriend, only date men that want to go out and go on an actual date with you. Take it slow. It is not a sprint. Yeah, and here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with letting the natural flow of progression take things where they're supposed to go. Sometimes people can meet the intimate on the first date, and it's amazing. It's because they really feel it, and they just fall for each other, and it just works out. There's no right or wrong time for things to happen. Things are going to happen when they're meant to happen. And if you have a high level of attraction for somebody that's not only physical, but mentally, emotional, and spiritual, you're just going to either click or you're not. Attraction is a must and not a choice. So when people say take it slow, I'm a little leery of that because that's basically trying to stop the natural flow of progression, right? For me, my relationships that have worked out with women, the intimacy has happened a lot sooner than later. Why wouldn't you, why as a woman would you want to be with a man that you're not turned on to the point of where you want to be that close to him? That's part of the bond. And same thing as a guy for, towards the woman, right? But you got to make sure that, both sides want more than that. And there are ways you can tell. You can never be 100% sure, but there are ways you can tell that even if you are romantic or intimate with somebody sooner than later, that it's because there's more there, right? You got to seize the moment when it's there, right? And if you don't seize the moment, like with somebody new, and the intimacy doesn't happen when it's called for, whether it's sooner or later, that's gonna kill it. It'll never happen then. If you want someone to blow, I'm not gonna read that. And if you want someone to do something to your lower region, trying to be, good to the YouTube algorithm, then get dinner then get an F buddy that you are not going to fall in love with nor expect to ever go on an actual date with. Okay? Fair enough. Then trust someone when they tell you something. If they say they are looking for a boyfriend, that means they are not into you in that way. If they say they are not looking for a boyfriend or anything that involves commitment, trust them and let them go if you are wanting different things. And if they ever use the phrase, I am trying to avoid drama right now, or something to that effect, then run. All right, if you ever hear any lame excuses, then the person's not into you. Someone that's into you is not going to make any excuses. They're going to put themselves in your orbit and make it easy for you, right? I tell guys this all the time when it comes to women, right? A woman that's into you is going to chase you, is going to make it easy for you. She's going to basically say, you know what? I'm into you. You seem to be a good dude. You're turning me on. I'm attracted to you. Come and get me, because I believe you and I feel it for you, right? That's what you want. There's no better feeling than that, right? They are involved in far too much personal shit, and you will get lost with all that baggage. Yeah, you don't want to deal with drama. Eliminate all drama. If someone is trying to make things difficult and create drama, you got to move on from that. But to find any level of meaning in a relationship, you have to be able to suss out, where's this person from? What's suss out? Who is worth letting your guard down and who you need to shelter your heart from. Let go of things that no longer serve you. And remember that in the world, there are millions of people that will want to date you, but there are billions of people that will not. It's a good way to put it. It's all about the law of large numbers. You got to put yourself out there and take chances. And here's the thing, right? Don't give up, because the moment you give up, that right person would have just come into your life, right? You never know when that person's just going to come into your life out of the blue. Wonderful. Sounds like you have a normal dating life. It's challenging, especially during COVID-19. I'd say if there's anything else you have ever wanted to do or learn, now's the time. Perhaps in that new environment, you will meet your next guy. And that's all I'm going to go through here. There are a bunch more here. Don't need to read them, but I think you get the hint here. Let's go to the final one from the subreddit as one after infidelity. All right. Lack of emotional awareness, intelligence, maturity question. This is pretty... Now, there are a bunch here. I'll read a few of the comments, and I'll read the posting here. Folks, we are at 2 hours and 14 minutes. We'll be wrapping this up in about 10 to 15 minutes. So get your questions, comments, or concerns in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Just letting you know. All right. So how do you deal with / help, inform, and educate someone who is emotionally incapable of expressing, showing, reacting appropriately to a situation, which the lack of emotional awareness can somewhat be excused when it comes to reading a situation, in my opinion, knowing what I know about them? That's a run-on sentence. But anyway, how do you deal with someone that lacks, emotional awareness, that's incapable of it? Ignore them. You can try to talk with them and see how they react. And, if they're not open to answering any specific questions you ask that are reasonable questions, then you got to put two together and realize they're emotionally, they're not emotionally aware, they're emotionally unavailable, and now's not a good time to deal with that person in any capacity, whether it's business or personal, right? And that type of person probably has issues stemming back to their childhood, the way they were raised. Maybe they came from a broken household. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. There's something where that's stemming from, right? Maybe they got out of a relationship recently. You don't know what people are going through, but you know if somebody is emotionally aware or emotionally available or unavailable, right? I think, someone can be emotionally aware and be emotionally unavailable. So, even I've been emotionally unavailable in the past, in between relationships, for the first 2-3 months after going through a breakup, because that's normal, right? But does that mean I wasn't emotionally aware? No, I've always been emotionally aware. So, and I understood that I was emotionally attached still, and I was, emotionally unavailable. But that doesn't mean I'm not aware. But I'm a guy that's done a lot of work on me to get to that point to understand that. Most guys just don't get that. So there's nothing you can do. How do you deal with it? You don't. You just move on. You move away from them. Let them figure it out. And down the road, if they figure it out and you re-engage with them for whatever reason and they're in a better place emotionally, then you can try again, right? Even more concerning is when something heavy and heartfelt is communicated directly, and while they acknowledge and say they are apologetic, beyond that there is no engagement, no physical touch, no questions, no attempt at asking what one might need from them in that moment. That's because there's an issue that stems from somewhere. Could stem back as far as their childhood, the way they were raised, broken household, like I said. This is just a broken record, same thing. Or maybe they just got out of a relationship, or maybe they just went through a divorce. Maybe they just lost their job. Maybe they lost their house. You don't know what these people are going through, and different people handle things differently. Knowing when asked or prodded, they will have sincere concern and remorse, but no point of reference on how they should respond. How can this be properly addressed? Well, you can't control people. You can't sit there and say you are emotionally unstable. If you talk with me, then magically you will become emotionally stable. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. These people have to figure it out on their own. Maybe they need to go see a therapist. But more importantly, they need to come to realization one day that what they're doing in their life is not working, and have to figure out why it's not working. And it's because they're not showing up a happy, positive person, right? But there's nothing you can do, beyond initially approaching them for whatever you're approaching them for. And if they lack communication and they seem closed off, you just got to move. You got to move on. That's all you can do. You can't save the world. I've had the save the world mentality. You can't save the world. You try to save the world, you're going to sink along with it, right? I've learned to be open to helping anyone, but I'm not going to focus my energy on people that aren't open to it. It's a waste of time and energy. My assumption is it will require a professional counselor. I just said that in different words. Is there anything that can help in the meantime? Well, you said no. A professional counselor might be able to help. There's nothing you can do. You identified that they're not emotionally aware or they're unavailable, right? Time to move on. Let's read a few comments here before we wrap this up. Do you know what actions you need from them in those moments? If they struggle this much, it might be helpful to say, I really like a hug right now, or I'd really like a hug right now, or please ask me to tell you more about what I just said. You could also talk about what you need ahead of time using similar language. Some people benefit from scripts, so until they're able to do that work with their own therapist, I wonder if that would help in those moments. I don't think you need a script to be able to express your feelings. There's nothing scripted about your feelings. Your feelings are what you feel in the present moment. It sucks having to do it for them, but it did help me get better at being direct. I tell people nowadays it's the best way to be direct, decisive, be honest. It's masculine energy, but I think women need to be more direct too nowadays, even though it's typically not a feminine energy type of thing, because women are empowered and they're working in the workforce and they're doing jobs that require them in many cases to exude more masculine energy than feminine energy, right? So in essence, because women have been liberated, they're empowered, they're independent, women need to be direct as well, too. Both men and women in the modern world need to be direct with what they want. So that way they don't waste their time with the wrong people, whether it's involving a personal or professional instance. Let me read one more, then I'm going to go off the air. I think so. I kind of expected this to be a response from someone. Does it make it wrong of me to want her to get it and feel the moment and to respond accordingly? I'm not opposed to spelling it out. I'm probably wanting blood from a turnip, to be honest. She was abused and beaten most of her childhood as early as she can recall and even earlier. Well, she probably hasn't worked through that. Until she works through that, she's not going to be in a good place emotionally in general. And that's something you need to separate yourself from, or you're going to sink along with her. And into early teens and conditioned to not express emotions and be a hard ass. That stems back to their childhood. A lot of people nowadays, I keep saying it, that they're just being raised differently. A lot of the millennials have been raised in broken households. They've also been raised in a different world with these smartphones attached to their hips, and they'd rather text all day than hang out in person, right? It's ridiculous. And it's affected their communication. That's what's affecting communication nowadays are these things. Now, if you know how to communicate like I do, you can use text and video chatting or whatever to communicate when you're not able to talk on the phone or meet in person. But if you are available to hang out with someone, whether it's a relationship partner or friendship or whatever, or business partnership, if you have the time to hang out with someone and you choose to just text instead of hang out in person, that's a problem. That's a problem. What's the point of these things to connect and communicate with people if you're never going to hang out with them in person for whatever reason you're hanging out with them for, right? Anyway. All right, folks. That's going to do it for this show here. I'm going to go back to full screen. Check out the chat one more time. We are at 2 hours and 23 minutes. I went about 23 minutes over what I wanted to go, but hey, what the heck? It was totally worth it. Totally worth it. Let's see. Holly Hopeful and Blessed says, my hubby is doing better. I already read that. His wife told me, but LOL. So you talked with his wife and she told you about his statistics in the lower region. Okay. God. It's kind of like what guys used to do in high school, right? We go in the locker room and we're like, man, she's hot, right? And this and that, right? And she's got nice. And you get older and you're like, it's more than just boobs and butts, right? Boobs and asses, right? Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still enjoy the beauty of a woman. Excuse me, I just sneezed on the air. Excuse me a second. Those allergies starting to kick up. High pollen season. That's a good luck sneeze there. But yeah, guys used to talk about those things in the locker room. And ladies do it too. So Glad you're you're open to sharing that, Holly. Interesting. Holly furthermore says, I don't know. People tend to tell me stuff. LOL. I guess I'm a good listener. Yeah, people like to talk. Some people are open to sharing things like that, and they get off on it. Whatever floats your boat, right? All right, folks, time to get on out of here. We're at 2 hours, and it's about to turn to 2 hours and 25 minutes. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I really enjoyed doing this show. I'm in a good day. It's been a good day, and I hope your day is going well. And folks, look, everybody wants to be happy in life. And I know this world is different, and it's much more difficult to connect with people, especially in dating relationships. But I'll tell you this. If you really want something, don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Even if you get 100 rejections, that 101st person might make the biggest difference in your life. But if you stopped at 100, you would have never had the chance with that person. Have yourselves a great day. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.